Welcome everyone. Today we have a patch summary for Dota Underlord. So this is just released for today on the 23rd of April, and most of the changes are itemized. There's a few hero changes, we'll go through those as well. Firstly, Legion Commander is getting a buff in terms of attack for minimum and maximum attack, and you can see it's pretty substantial. The reason they buffed Legion Commander is they don't want her to be a part of the Bloodbound Alliance that's actually benefiting from the increased damage. There's two units that really benefit from Bloodbound. One is going to be the Legion Commander, the other one is going to be the Bloodseeker. And removing her from getting the attack buffs is actually quite sizable if you're playing the Bloodbound build, that's for sure. And after that, we're going to look into Zenkin. Zenkin's getting a bit of the attack rebuff. And by the way, when I say she's not receiving buffs, what that means is Legion Commander is not getting the 125 damage per death of the Bloodbound, and Legion Commander is actually going to still give buffs to the Bloodbound units if she dies. So if she dies, all the Bloodbound like Ogre Magi and Bloodseeker gets the damage, but if they die, she doesn't get the damage. And hey there, Folic, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, just going through the patch notes right now, and after that what we'll do is I'll go through a few games with us. We're going to test Legion Commander out, we're going to test out the insects. So Zenkin got a very minimum buff on attack speed, which is not a big factor. The bigger factor is the life here. Having more life, Zenkin can stun multiple times. Even at level 1, quite substantial with 1.5k. Level 2, he can definitely stun twice if he's not focused in the backline. So this is a really good buff for Zenkin. That means insects and also the savages are pretty happy for that. And what we're going to do is we're going to try a Legion Commander build without the Bloodbound, and that's going to be a testing of her damage. Shadow Shaman is getting a buff all around. He is getting HP buff, damage buff, and damage buff. So in that sense, Shadow Shaman is pretty happy with where he's at, and he was getting a few buffs with his summon wards with cooldown, so that's a really good summoner build with Shadow Shaman. We might try 2 Shadow Shaman with summoners. That'd be interesting. So here are the item changes now. Now the item changes, the biggest one is going to be the round 16 that you used to get tier 4 items. I used to roll on round 16 just to try to get lucky on tier 4. Because it's a massive boost of damage or like survivability if you get the mechanism, if you get radiance, if you get the moonshot, if you get butterfly, it's a big item on tier 4. So now you can't get tier 4, it's 100% tier 3. The good thing is you can get a lot of the tier 3 alliance items, especially the Hunter Crown is going to be very useful if you go for those, or maybe the Brute item, maybe even the Demon item. So there's a few good things on tier 3 as well, so not bad for the changeover, just slowing down the pace of the game. Arcane Boots getting a buff, that's pretty good, especially on builds that relies on mana like mages. You can get more casts off. Or units like Batrider that can really proc Arcane Boots very quickly. So on the first second you proc it because he only has 20 mana. When he gets 10 mana with 1 attack, he procs it. Then 10 seconds later he'll proc the Arcane Boots again. Not bad for Arcane Boots. The Amulet is getting another buff. Why is that buff? Is that the loss of HP is going down to 80. And if that's the case, well, you're less likely to die very quickly, and I do think the Amulet on a knight like Chaos Knight may be a solid choice for the mid game or the early game. But in reality, unless they change it down to 50 HP loss, I don't think it's gonna be that great, because the unit still dies. It stays on 1 HP, but it still dies after anyone touches it. It's an okay choice, but there's so many good items on tier 2. The Stormhawk Cloak, Stormhawk Pike, there is, the other little gimmicky items, Desolator, etc. that can be useful, like Vanguard, etc. So Amulet is still kind of slightly below average for me. There's a lot of above average items. Barricade is one of those items that's very situational. It's great against the spirits, not bad against assassins, and it's useful in most cases. It's one of those average items in tier 2, and now, although it no longer blocks the extra damage, it can still be useful. I think it was doing too much work before. Blink Dagger is getting a buff. Not the biggest buff, but there's some units with only 60 mana. I think Dragoner or Lone Druid have some low mana, and if they instantly get a summon off, that can be a small game changer. I'm not sure. Skadi is getting a buff. So 45 to 55, that's a bit of a attack speed. So the reason Skadi was good is for the slow of movement and attack speed, and also increase of HP. In that sense, it's a decent buff, and I think people were not picking Skadi a lot, and this will help a little bit. Force Staff is almost never picked by me, but it can be useful because if you use a Force Staff in the front line, it can push the enemy front line like a Tidehunter away, or like an enemy Spellcaster, or even a Sacrificial Warlock. You can push them away if they hit you. But I do believe it's melee, right? We should see that. But Force Staff now pushes units, takes 50% longer to travel away, so they move slower when they get pushed back. Not the biggest factor, but they do get a kind of stun for like 1 second if you think about it. So it's okay for tier 2, unless you have any other good choices. Satanic is getting a much needed buff because I felt that it wasn't game changing, because a unit, unless it's a hyper carry like Slag, if it's like a big damage dealer, it doesn't get its value back from the lifesteal, and the cooldown is too long. So they fix the cooldown, they also give more lifesteal. Not bad for that. So more likely we're going to try Satanic on a kind of average hero before you have to try it on really good hero to make it useful. Vanguard's getting a much needed nerf because Vanguard was too powerful. If you get a tier 2 Vanguard which scales up almost indefinitely with the higher star level of the unit, the stronger the armor the unit has, the more HP it has, the better it is. So nerfing Vanguard by 10 is not bad. I think two things you can nerf it by. One is change it to tier 3, but it's not good on tier 3. The other one is they can change the block rate, but the best thing about Vanguard is the block rate, so they change it in the block damage, which is okay. Lastly, the Insects is getting a very niche buff. No one really plays for Insects unless we play a fun build, which we'll try today. And the Insects is getting, 5% increase more mischance. This might not seem much, but it is 1/7 of what it started with, 35. So what that means is this could be really good. You hear the siren. Ooh, hope everything's okay outside. Should be okay. But the change of the miss rate means, if you're facing hunters or any other builds, if they're hitting you and if they're missing, it's really good. And the only downside is having 4 insects is going to be difficult. But if you do find the 4 insects, it's very rewarding to find the Sand King. So I think overall it's not bad of a nerf to the Legion Commander. I'll call it nerf. We'll try her out because you can't use Blood Bomb with her effectively, but we'll still give it a try. A good item change. I'm waiting for the next rotation of units, Alliance. I want to see how the Scrappies are going to come back. I want to see a few big changes for your Underlord. That'll be very exciting. So thank you again for watching this quick summary of the patch, guys, and we look forward to the next patch. So they're working from home, I believe. Hopefully all the developers are safe and stay healthy. So last one was on the 10th. This one is on the 23rd. Likely we'll see another patch in 2 weeks' time, and we're hoping for a big patch. Thank you for watching, guys.